this tutorial, you're going to learn how to draw a lantern. So in order to start off, let's start at the top of the lantern and we will draw the little small hinge on the top of the lantern, and then we start drawing out the body of the lantern. Now, before I get started on this, I would love to draw a line in the center of the lantern so that it helps me get a very symmetrical lantern. So I'm measuring from the side of my paper about 2.5 inches, and I'm measuring the same in the bottom so I get a nice straight line. So I connect those two dots. So there you have a straight line which I'm going to use as my center line, and then I'm going to draw the lantern on either sides, and that's going to help me make sure that it's very symmetrical. So now coming back to drawing the top of it, again you can use a ruler and measuring from the center, go for 1 inch on either side, sorry, on 1 centimeters on either side, and then you can draw the top part of the lantern connected like that. So because I measured the distance from the center line on either sides, it's gonna be nice and symmetrical. And now I want to make sure it's not tilted, so I measure it from that point to the bottom of the page and make sure it's same on either side. On the right side, I'm a millimeter off, so I'm gonna just adjust my sketch a little bit, bring it down on the right side a little bit more. And so now I have a nice symmetrical base. And then I want to continue on and do the body of the lantern, which is going to be nice and round. Now this is also something where you want to really make sure that you're drawing as symmetrical as possible and get a nice round shape on either side of the line. And then in the bottom, you're going to wrap it up with the bottom of the lantern. So it's going to be a shape like that, and then you want to connect it from the center. So in the sense, you want to show the center of the lantern, so you connect those corners, and now it makes you look like a nice circle in the bottom of the lantern. And because you're looking at it from an angle, you're not going to see a full circle, but you're going to see kind of like an oval, a shape like that. Now I'm also going to measure and make sure that the either side of the size of the lantern is actually accurate. And then you can move on and do some details on the top of the lantern. Again, this is totally up to you how much detail you want to do. I'm going to do a little bit of detail. This is a beautiful vintage lantern which you'd see in most of the European countries on the streets. I've been to Italy and I've been to Poland and France, and I love the beautiful lamps that are hanging off the walls all over the city. Now I'm going to draw the handle which goes from the lantern to the wall. And this is going to be nice and curvy handle, so it's going to come from the top and go around on the top and then start coming down on the side and give it a nice curve. And it doesn't have to be an exact dimension or anything, like as long as the curve is nice and smooth, then it'll look nice. And then I want to do some other detail on the handle, so I'm going to do another other doodle like that, and it's going to come down and connect to the lamp and come down and rotate inward and connect to the top. Like so. So this is a bit of a free form drawing. Feel free to use whatever design you want on the inside of that handle. Doesn't have to be exactly what you see here. The main thing is the big handle that you have to do from the lamp to the wall, but the other design details you can do it as you please. So for the inside one, I wanted to do a little bit more detail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw another line right alongside that whole curve. First, I want to do that and go along this side all around like so. And then it's going to go up and turn around again. And again, you want to draw the line alongside that curve. Like so. Now the next thing I want to do is add a few more detail onto that design that I just did. Now this is where you're going to make it look a little bit more three-dimensional. So you want to draw, imagine the frame curving as it comes to the side, and then you will see how the curves disappear on the top and then appear again on the side. So this is how, if you imagine a flat thin metal being curled up, you will see parts of it on one side and blending into the other side, and then you'd see part of it on the inside. So this is kind of how you would capture the three-dimensional look of this fixture. Like that. So you can decide to do this detail if you want, or just do a plain straight curve like I did on the top bigger tube. It's totally up to you how much detail you want to capture, but I like to capture a little bit of detail here because it's going to give me a nice three-dimensional look as I'm painting it. Or shading, whichever you like to do, painting or shading. And then I'm going to do a small little detail on top of the handle over there. And then I'm going to do another small little detail connecting those two bars at the top. And then another curve on the top. And you can see here very clearly how first you draw alongside that line, and then you do this curve of the curve that kind of comes on top, blends in, and then goes back on the inside. So this makes that shape look more three-dimensional, doesn't it? So there you go, you have the sketch. Now erase the guideline that you have in the center. Oh, but before we do that, let's draw the final touch-up on the lamp, which is kind of like a thin round frame that's going on alongside on the center, from the center of the lamp. So this gonna come around like that, and then you're gonna draw this frame which connects to the base of the lamp. It's gonna be a little bit thicker, and then draw a couple more alongside the center. Now this one, make sure it's even on both sides of that line, so it's the distance is even, so this way you're getting it nice and symmetrical. And then you can erase the guideline in the center and just connect everything. And voila.